Have a look at this. These cats here suddenly appeared on my bed. You think they are cute? No, they are backstabbing little demons. Do not trust cats in Minecraft. You want to know why? Well, you gotta watch this episode. It's crazy. As you know, I'm playing on a server with lots of Minecraft hackers, but it got a bit out of hand. So I wanted to implement more advanced script kiddie protections on the server, and here's what I did. When you spawn into the world, you are presented by a demo screen and a world border that traps you. Also, it looks like you are in creative mode, but all of that is just for show, a bit of trolling. Because any Minecraft hacker will be easily able to bypass this and play like normal. Maybe it helps to cut down a few basic script kiddies using existing hacked clients. But besides these new protections, I also moved to a new base very far away. I wanted a fresh start and be left alone. So let me show you what I worked on next. In the last episode I already showed you several farms I built, so next up was the storage area. Inside the mountain, I started to clear out a big room for it, but I haven't decided yet how I wanted to do it. Only thing I knew was that I wanted to have an automatic sorter because I don't want to sort items by hand. Also, the mountain should be big enough to have lots and lots of chests. And so I decided to go with basic item filters. This is not a fancy sorting system and takes a lot of space, but it's easy and it works. At least I thought so. You can see I started building it, but actually I didn't really understand how filtering works, and through this process I realized the importance of signal strength from the comparators, the items in the hopper, and the signals bleeding into other filters. Especially with rare items like diamonds, your filter has to contain a lot of them for it to work, and then items that are stackable to 16 will work differently or break stuff. So it frustrated me so much that I decided I want to do something else. Also, I started to realize there are just too many items in the game that with a regular filter setup, it doesn't really make sense. And so I destroyed it all. Thinking about it, what I really want is to filter items in categories. For example, all spruce wood related blocks like planks, stairs, fences, everything sorted into one chest. And if you remember, at the actual server spawn there is this amazing item sorter from Mizuma Games, and I thought I could build one into the mountain here as well. Using schematics it should be fairly easy, but it requires a lot of materials, so that was my new goal. I started to gather all the items necessary to build the categorizer. The categorizer is a very complicated build, and the schematic uses colored concrete blocks for easier management of the different parts, and so I wanted to make sure I used the same colors to make my first build easier. That's why I built the basic flower farm based on a design I found on YouTube. I also added a small cactus farm right next to the kelp farm in order to get green dye. But the more items I start to gather and the more I watched the video by Mizuma Games, the more I understood how it works, and I realized I'm too damn lazy for this. I need a different solution. At first I thought about writing a mod or a complete bot that does the sorting for me. Imagine a bot account standing in the middle, grabbing items out of one chest and sorting them into other chests based on some rules, kinda like Notebot. I think that would be a useful mod or bot, so feel free to implement one, but I'm the server owner and I have different powers for cheating. So I decided to write a server plugin, which would also benefit everyone else. My amazing idea was to implement item filters directly with hoppers. How to figure out how a hopper should filter items? Let's use the name of the hopper. For example, when I give a hopper the name cobblestone, it would only process items with the Minecraft item name cobblestone. It's based on the item names displayed when you have the debug output enabled. It's the Minecraft item translation key. But the plugin can do even more. You can also use comma-separated values. That's self-explanatory, just more options to filter. But the killer feature, it supports wildcards. So with a star at the end or the start of the string, it's basically a filter for if the item name starts or ends with that term. And with that, we can very easily sort items into categories, simply creating a big hopper chain around the room with lots and lots of filters. Let me actually show you how the plugin works. It's super simple. We simply register two event handlers for the onInventory move item event and the onInventory pickup item event. These events are triggered when a hopper moves items around or picks up items. Now we just implement some checks to decide what to do. For example, if a hopper tries to take an item, we check if actually a hopper attempts to take an item, and then we check if the hopper has a custom name. And if that is the case, we get the translation key of the item we try to move, and then we apply the filter rule. If this filter fails, we cancel the event, so the item is not moved. And this filter code implements what I just described. We take the hopper name and split it on the commas, and then we go through the list and compare each filter name with the item name. Either it's an exact match, or if it contains a star, we check with starts with or ends with. Super easy plugin, but I think it's incredibly useful. But I also really wish there was an easier item sorting in vanilla Minecraft. I mean, there are some amazing sorting systems out there. It's crazy what people come up with. These are actual computers, but that's not really practical for anybody playing Minecraft casually, like me. Anyway, I'm very happy with the storage system. I mean, yeah, it's cheating. It's so much simpler than crazy sorter design, but it still took hours to build, and I'm okay with this. After the first part of the sorter was done, I also thought it would be cool to get some beacons, but for that I have to gather some wither skeleton skulls in the nether. Luckily, nearby to the base is a stronghold, so I decided to farm there for a while, but it's so boring to farm for them and really annoying as well because of all the blazes. I mean, I'm already using a reach hack to kill blazes and wither skeletons from far away, but they can also shoot back. It's so frustrating. And of course the drop rate for wither skeleton skulls is also so low, so it really took a while. Wait, did you just say Minecraft reach hack? What? I didn't believe it at first either. When you search on YouTube for Minecraft reach exploit, you only find pretty old stuff for Minecraft 1.8 or something, and they also are not very far. I mean, there used to be nice reach exploits in the past, like this video from Guildfish, by the way also a player on the server, but a reach hack in 1.19? Unheard of. Well, I wasn't the one to find it at first. A while ago, Crimson Gale suddenly shared a video on Discord of him hitting players from super far away. And I was like, what the heck? And others were like, what the heck as well? So many of us started to open IntelliJ with the Minecraft source code and started to think about how to implement a reach attack. More and more videos appeared on Discord. EnderKilled98 shared a video slaughtering mobs from far away. Enjoys shared their implementation of what they called Fabulous Reach, or Mojangster implemented customizable reach. God damn it, I wanted to find it too. And eventually, I tweeted this. You want to know what I can achieve in 14 hours of hacking reading Minecraft source code? Now I can kill sheep from a little bit further away. No exaggeration, this is really how long it took me to rediscover and implement my own version of the reach hack. It was really fun though, like a CTF challenge. I knew it must be possible, I just didn't know how. And by the way, that's what I have hidden deep below my base in the deep dark. Did you notice the enchantment table in the last video? You need to bring a sacrifice and then a sheep spawns very far away in the deep dark portal that has no use, and then you need to quickly kill it from far away. If you don't, you get punished. If you manage to kill it from far away, you get rewarded. But this also means, sorry, I won't share with you the reach hack just yet. It's a challenge, you need to find it yourself. Anyway, back to my base building. Eventually I gathered enough wither skulls and was able to spawn some withers. And finally I was able to craft some beacons. Building the beacon pyramid, however, turned out to be quite annoying because I wanted to build it far down, and there we have the deep dark with annoying wardens that keep spawning. It was so annoying. I know I could just destroy all the shriekers, but I wanted to keep the deep dark scary and mostly untouched for when the first player arrived at the new base. So I just had to deal with it. Alright, let me show you my next project. Now that I have a cool storage area that I keep expanding, I needed a way to get items into there. And I have a few farms in my base and I thought, let's build a cool minecart railway through the whole base, collecting items from the farms and bringing them here. This was so much work, and you know what? My design is really dumb. I wasted a lot of materials on building powered rails to get the minecart to travel upwards. But do you know what I realized later? It would have been so much easier if I just had the minecart go downhill all the way. Almost no powered rails required, and then just use a bubble elevator to get the minecart back up. Not only would that have been a much cheaper design, it would probably also break a lot less. Right now, if there are multiple minecarts going up, they sometimes get stuck at some corners. I already added a basic dispenser clock to the unloading station to evenly space out hopper carts and chest minecarts, but it's still breaking a lot. The minecart unloader, by the way, I have from an Ilmango video. Well, we'll get back to the cart system in a moment, but after that I started to improve the crop farm. I wanted to have a more automatic setup using water to flush the grown crops down and then collect them in a central station. For that I had to build some basic stairs and measure how far the water flows, and then build an item collection elevator and transport system with water. Simply hit a lever, wait for the water to flush everything down, then wait a moment for the items to get transported through the water stream to the collection area, and then take some seeds to replant the crops using the automatic farming mod shown last time. Easy. Next, I started to decorate the interior of the storage area. In the trailer for the new base I called this my new kingdom, so I had to build a massive throne to sit in. And this is when also all the cats started to appear. Why the heck do cats suddenly appear around me? I thought maybe it's because of the carpet. Are cats maybe attracted to wool and carpet? You know, like the cat videos playing with wool? Is that maybe a thing in Minecraft that they spawn more often around carpet? I thought it was weird, but I also shrugged it off. Whatever, they are just cats. Turns out they are not cats. They are harbingers of death. Foreshadows of events that soon would unfold. Do not make the same mistake as me. Don't ignore them. Because while I just kept expanding my minecart system to include the new automatic farms as well, a group of players was on their way to my base. They found me using cats. They called themselves TP-Overflow. Specifically, the player Pixel Pro found the bug involving the cats and the group helped executing it. There was just one problem. For the bug to work, I had to be online and I was pretty busy. But when they asked nicely, I of course joined the game. I always come online for exploits. So here's how they did it. Remember many episodes ago I tamed a few cats to build a creeper farm? Well, I tamed them. Here's the cat entity class and it inherits from tameable entity. This means a cat can have an owner assigned to it. When you tame a cat, you become the owner and the cat remembers you. Now, in a previous episode, we looked at the AI behavior of zombies to figure out why a funny AI bug happened. So you should be a bit familiar with these AI goals here and that the game selects one of the behaviors to execute. And in the case of cats, there is a follow owner goal. It does what the name says. In the tick method of this behavior, you can see that it simply looks at and starts moving towards the owner. However, important is also the condition when this AI goal can even be used by the game. For example, if the cat has no owner, then there is nobody to follow, right? So in this can-use method, it gets the owner, and if there is no owner, it returns false, cannot be executed. Also, if the owner is currently in spectator mode, it won't follow them either. Or when the cat is sitting, it will also not walk. But here's a bug. The follower owner goal takes into account a minimum distance the cat has to be away from the owner. And there is a maximum distance for it as well. But see how that is used in the code? The can-use method, which decides whether the cat goes into this AI goal, only checks the minimum distance. If the owner is too close, the cat won't execute this. But what if we are far away? Well, it will return true. This AI goal can be started. As you know, Minecraft works with 20 ticks per second. So now that this goal was started, the tick method will be executed and the cat will look at the owner. But there's a problem, because when the owner is more than 144 blocks away from the cat will also teleport to the owner. I think now you know why there were so many cats around me. The group that wanted to find me started breeding the cats that I tamed for the creeper farm. And it's important to note that when a tamed cat breeds, the offspring will also be tamed as well, meaning the baby cats will also have me as the owner. So when a new baby cat spawned, they might also go into this AI goal, and because I'm far away, the cat teleports to me. Unless this if case is not true. So if the cat is leashed or is in a boat, they will not teleport. So they had to quickly catch the baby cats with a boat or they teleported to me. This failed many times, and that's why they started to appear around me. And I think you can slowly guess where all of this is going. The group now had a collection of cats that were tamed or owned by me, and sometimes the cat would select the AI goal to follow me, the owner, triggering the tick method to look into my direction. Theoretically, you now know the direction you have to travel to find me. But it's not that easy. On the next tick, the AI code will check with the can continue to use method if the AI goal can continue to be used. So if the cat continues trying to walk towards me. And here is the maximum distance check. Because I'm far away, the AI goal will be disabled and the cat stops walking towards me, which means another AI goal takes over and the cat walks somewhere else and looks into a different direction, making it not easy to figure out what the correct direction was. However, there's another trick Pixel Pro figured out. It involves leashes. You see, when an entity is attached to a leash, it will change how the entity behaves. So in the entity creature class, you can find a tick leash method implementing the leash logic. There are various movement checks. For example, if the distance reaches a certain threshold, a velocity will be applied pulling on the entity. But if you just slowly walk with the animal, the leash logic just tries to keep the leashed entity close by executing a navigation moving towards the player holding the leash. And here you can also see that an entity on a leash influences the type of AI goals that can be still executed. At least that's what I think the code does. I'm not sure if I understand correctly, to be honest. But I think in this case, movement goals are still allowed. And of course, the follow owner goal is a movement goal. It can still be executed, leading to the tick method being executed. And even though the movement is disabled because the cat is leashed now, the look at code still triggers. And apparently other AI code that causes the cat to look for other stuff is not executed when leashed or chosen more rarely, which means when having a cat on a leash, it will mostly look into the direction of the owner, no matter how far away you are. Now, there's another small caveat, and that can be seen in the Minecraft protocol. When the look direction is updated for an entity, the look angle is represented only by a byte. So there are only 256 possible values for an angle, which means it's not a very precise direction. But with enough distance to triangulate, you can still find the rough location. To pull it off, the group started to travel to far places with tamed cats and equipped with leashes, hooked them up and observed the look direction. Here, for example, is a clip from Enderkill98, logging all the view directions of cats that are owned by me in order to triangulate the position. Of course, I censored the values because that would basically be a coordinate leak and I never leak stuff. I'm very careful with leaks.
Ja, that is the farmout from the video.
I was like, haha, are those your chords for the bass? And he was like, where? And then I was in Discord and he was like, fuck.
Wow, that is nice. That looks sick.
We rebuilding the LiveOverflow sign today?
There is a LiveOverflow sign. This one is really nice, to be honest.
But yeah, that was crazy. They found me with this. Those stupid cats that appeared around me were actually a hint that a group started to exploit a buggy cat AI goal, which would point into my direction. Absolutely insane, and so far the best solution finding my new base. Cool, but before we end this video, I want you to think more about this. So by creating a challenge where players had to figure out a way to find me, a really cool bug was discovered. To my knowledge, this is an unknown bug. I mean, it's Minecraft, I'm sure there's a nerd out there that figured it out before, but it was totally new to us. So by creating an environment where people are forced to find creative solutions, creative stuff happens. And that can be used as a driver and motivator to do security research and find new bugs. This is also my experience with playing CTFs. So many cool bugs and even 0 days get discovered thanks to CTFs. And that's actually the reason for another challenge that I built for the server. It's the Snowball challenge. Here's how it works. When you hit a player with a snowball, the velocity of the snowball is measured and there is a high score. So basically we want to figure out who can throw the fastest snowball. You probably wonder why this is interesting to me. Well, the speed of the snowball depends on the speed of the player. If the player has a high velocity, this velocity will be transferred to the snowball. That's why you reach higher scores when you are falling downwards. Of course, there are other tricks to accelerate entities in the game, for example TNT cannons or fishing rods, and that's how the current high score got reached. But I was hoping somebody would find an arbitrary acceleration exploit, or at least an exploit to get very high player velocity. This is interesting because the velocity is used in the movement packet handler code. As you probably know, if you move too fast in the game, your position will be reset, and this prevents you from teleporting all over the place. If you send a position packet with a large value, the game calculates the distance you traveled from the previous position, and then it subtracts the velocity. The result is then compared to the result of this other formula. So think about this. This value is the distance from the last known position to the new position of the current packet, and from that you subtract the player velocity. Large velocity allows large position difference. This is done for good reasons. For example, without it, something like a TNT cannon wouldn't work. With such a cannon, they fling a player super fast, super far, and they don't want it to trigger the move too quick arrow. So in that case, the player has a high velocity, so the difference between previous and new position can be larger. Do you see what I tried to do here? In theory, if you find an exploit to gain very high player acceleration, you could probably teleport anywhere on the map, or teleport pretty far away. And that's why I implemented the Snowball challenge. I was hoping a challenge like this would get multiple people to review the Minecraft code trying to find an acceleration bug. So far, no exploit was found, which maybe means it doesn't exist, the code is safe. But maybe telling you about the reasoning behind this challenge, maybe now you get motivated. So you should try to beat the high score with a large value, because by doing that, you might actually introduce the world to a Minecraft teleport exploit. And wouldn't that be cool? Let's see what happens. Now we come to the last part of the video, the community showcase. MetalMouse is a very active player on the server. For example, a while ago they were one of the first players finding a Clomate bottle bypass, and they even made this amazing map art of my avatar. And today I want to share a video MetalMouse made about a few strategies trying to find the location of my new base. They also put a lot of effort into editing this, so big thanks for that. Now enjoy the clip.
Hello, my name is MetalMouse, and in this video I'm going to showcase the method that I used to try to find LiveOverflow's coordinates from the teaser. I based my method on this clip.
So I will rebuild my kingdom right here. This is my new place. You wonder where I am? Here are my coordinates. Come and find me.
The reason I chose to try to find this part specifically is because of the unique terrain generation, which I would be able to recognize if I do manage to find it. Just look at all these cool pillars. Before we can begin writing any code, we first need to define our search parameters. First, as indicated by the trees in the puzzle, this is an old growth taiga. We can also infer from the shapes of the leaves on the trees that this is the pine variation and not the spruce variation, as in the old growth spruce taiga, the leaves cover much more of the trunk. Now, scanning every single old growth pine taiga would take ages, so another parameter that I added is that there must be a frozen peaks biome within the render distance, as indicated by the packed ice. To reduce the amount of scanning that I would have to do even further, I used the cloud map. In Minecraft, the clouds are a constant texture that is 256 by 256 pixels, with each pixel representing a single cloud segment, which is 12 by 12 blocks. So in total, the map is 3072 blocks wide. This pattern is tiled forever and will always move towards the negative Z direction, which means that if we recognize where we are in the cloud map, we know that our Z coordinate will always be one of these lines.
I thought it was really interesting to learn about cloud formation and how it can aid